What's going on, guys? It's your boy Distant Coder, and here I am. Finally, you guys have been asking for a lot, and I promised you I would give this to you, my Code Talker combo tutorial. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys two really good combos that you can do turn one with your Code Talker deck in order to Ibli lock and you link your opponent. So let's get right into it. So this first combo that I'm going to be showing to you guys utilizes Lady Debug plus any extender in your entire deck. So access to Lady Debug plus any extender gets you to the full combo. So in order to do this, you're going to start off by normal summoning the Lady Debug and using the effect. This is going to add you your microcoder, the microcoder being the central part of your deck. So here, you're going to link with the microcoder and the Lady Debug to summon Code Talker, and then you'll be able to trigger the effect of the microcoder in your graveyard in order to add a Signet spell or trap. Here, you're going to add the Signet Codec, and you have full combo from here. So if you activate the Signet Codec and summon your extender, in this case, I'm using Infraflyer, but this could be any extender in your entire deck, you'll be able to link summon into the Code Talker, and from here, your combo is essentially complete. You'll trigger the Signet Codec in order to add you the code generator, and then you're going to use the effect of the Code Talker in order to return the Code Talker to the zone that it points to. Here, you're going to link summon using the code generator and the Code Talker. You're going to go into the Code Talker, and you're going to trigger multiple effects here. You're going to go Chainlink 1, Code Generator to Foolish, Chainlink 2, Signet Codec to add a Wind, and Chainlink 3, Code Talker in order to lock a zone your opponent controls. This effect of Code doesn't actually matter. It's just a question of chain blocking your codec and your code generator. So your codec is going to add you a Wind, so here you can add the Parallel Exceed, which is a great extender, and the code generator is going to Foolish your Dotscaper, and then you'll be able to trigger the effect of Dotscaper in your graveyard once that's done. So here you'll end up with a Dotscaper on field, Xcode, Transcode, Exceed in hand. And you still have 3 other cards, mind you. You've done this with 2 cards. You're going to link the Transcode Talker and the Dotscaper for a Code Talker inverted. Now here is where the little play that I explained in my deck profile comes into play. So here you're legally allowed to use the effect of Code Talker inverted as Chainlink 1 and Codec as Chainlink 2 because you do have a Cyberse monster in your hand. So here the Signet Codec is going to add you the Format Skipper, and then the Code Talker inverted is going to resolve, and you can summon that Format Skipper to the zone that it points to. Keep in mind, you're not allowed to do this if you don't already have a Cyberse monster in your hand, but you did add this one with the combo, so you'll essentially always have one. Here you link summon the inverted with the Format Skipper for the shooting Code Talker, and then you'll trigger multiple effects once again. You'll go Format Skipper Chainlink 1, Codec Chainlink 2, Exceed in hand Chainlink 3. So you'll summon the Exceed, and then the Signet Codec is going to add you a Water Monster, and the Format Skipper is going to add you a level 5 or higher. So you end up adding the Sea Archiver, and you add the Gachiri at Ignister. Here you'll trigger the effect of Exceed on the field in order to summon another one from your deck. And then you go into the boy himself, Firewall Dragon. So you're going to link summon the Shooting Code Talker and the 1 Parallel Exceed into the Firewall Dragon. And now we get into where we get the Ibli lock from. So the way you get to the Ibli in this scenario is, first of all, you want to trigger the Gachiri. Targeting the Code Talker doesn't really matter because you're going to be linking it off. Here you're going to link the Code Talker with the Parallel Exceed, and you're doing essentially the same play as you normally would with the Code Talker inverted, but with Firewall Dragon. So here you're going to summon Access Code Talker, and the chain links here matter. You go Chainlink 1 Firewall Dragon, Chainlink 2 Signet Codec, and Chainlink 3 Access Code Talker targeting the Xcode to gain 3000 attack. So we're going to put a little dice over here to note that the attack is boosted, and then you'll resolve the Signet Codec, adding a Dark Monster, so you add the Ibli, and then you resolve the Firewall, summoning the Ibli. Once again, you're only allowed to do this if you already have a Cyberse monster in hand, but again, you search the Sea Archiver and still have 3 other cards. Here you're going to link off the Ibli into a Talkback Lancer, and you'll trigger the Ibli to summon herself to the opponent's side of the field. Now you have the Ibli lock underway, and here you can use the effect of Talkback Lancer, tributing the Gachiri in order to reborn the Code Talker from your graveyard to the zone that it points to. Here, you'll be triggering multiple effects. You'll be triggering not only the Sea Archiver in your hand, but also the Gachiri at Ignister in your graveyard. So the Gachiri can make any one of your monsters unaffected by card effects. Personally, I'm a fan of making the Firewall unaffected, because if they do have the Forbidden Droplet, your Firewall will still be live to have 2 bounces, and you're going to be triggering the Sea Archiver to summon itself, and then you're going to banish it to link summon for the Baylinks. That's going to close off your U-Link. Here you trigger the Baylinks to add the Salamander Sanctuary, which is very important because the Sanctuary doesn't allow your opponent to crash the Ibli. You're going to activate the Sanctuary, and personally, I like to relink the Baylinks in order to make the protection for the Baylinks and the Sanctuary live, and here you have a 2-card combo that ends on a U-Link with an Ibli lock established. Now for the second combo, you need to open Nightmare Corruptor Ibli, any combination of Microcoder or Signet Codec, plus any extender in your deck. In this case, I'll be using Link Infraflyer again. So for this scenario, we'll say that we open the Ibli, the Microcoder, and the Link Infraflyer. Here you're going to normal summon the Ibli, and you're going to link the Ibli with the Microcoder in order to go directly into your Code Talker. So this is going to look kind of similar to the other combo, but what the main thing is that if you open the Ibli early, you can chain block your Microcoder, and you don't lose to stuff like Nibiru, Gamma, Imperm, things like that. So you get to summon the Ibli early to your opponent's field and add the Signet Codec. The other thing that's very important is that this combo, because you already opened the Ibli, you don't have to make the Access Code Talker turn 1. So you can go into something like an Avramax later in the turn. So you go Signet Codec, summon the Infraflyer, and now this is going to look very similar to the first combo that I showed you, but it does have a couple of variants near the end, so I'll show you those when I get there. So the Signet Codec going to add you the code generator once again, and then you're going to use the effect of Transcode to summon back the Code Talker, just like you did in the previous combo, and you're again going to be linking these two for the Xcode Talker. Then once again, you're going to be going Generator 1, Codec 2, Xcode 3, Xcode to Chain Block, very important. Add the Parallel Exceed, Foolishing the Dotscaper, then triggering the effect of the Dotscaper in the graveyard in order to special summon itself. So like I said, this is basically the exact same combo I showed you before, but the end of the combo is quite different. So I'll get to that when I get to it. So you go Inverted Chain 1, Codec Chain 2. You don't trigger the Exceed just yet because the Exceed is going to be triggering on a later chain. But what's cool is that here you also have the decision. You can either go for Lady Debug or you can add the Format Skipper like you did in the previous combo. Personally, I'm a fan of adding the Format Skipper just because it gets you the Gachiri, but if you open the Gachiri, you can add the Lady Debug to get you something like a Backup Secretary or something like that. So in this case, you're going to add the Format Skipper, special summon it, and link it for the Shooting Code Talker once again. And you're going to trigger the effect of Format Skipper Chain 1, Codec Chain 2, and XE Chain 3. Very important to not allow your opponent to ash any of your things, so you try to chain block as much as possible. So here you're adding the C Archiver, and you are adding the Gachiri at Ignister. And then you trigger the effect of Exceed on the field once again in order to summon the other copy of itself. Here you're going to once again make the Firewall Dragon, but what this means is that you can get an extra use out of the Sea Archiver, because the Firewall Dragon here is only really going to be summoning one monster. It's not going to be summoning anything that's really going to you don't need the Firewall Dragon in order to summon the Ibli. You can summon the Sea Archiver off it. So here you're going to go get Chiri at Ignister, targeting the Firewall, the Parallel Exceed Dragon, and then you're going to link these two off into a Splash Mage over here, and you'll trigger the Firewall Dragon in order to summon. And you'll be able to use the Gachiri to make your Firewall Dragon unaffected by card effects. Here you're going to use the effect of Splash Mage to summon back a level 2 or lower Cybers. This is very important because this is how you go into your Talkback Lancer. So you can reborn the Dotscaper, you can reborn the Microcoder. It doesn't really change a whole lot. And here you can use the effect of the Talkback Lancer, tributing the Splash Mage to bring back your Transcode Talker to the zone that it points to. And here you can link the Sea Archiver. It doesn't get banished because it was not summoned by its own effect. It was summoned off Firewall. You can go Balink's effect to add the Salamander Sanctuary. And then once you do that, you can use the Salamander Sanctuary to relink the Balinks. And here what that's going to do is it's going to trigger the Sea Archiver that is in your grave, because a monster was zoned to a zone that a link's monster points to. So you can summon back the Sea Archiver. And here, if your opponent is playing a trap-heavy deck, you can link it off for the Lingaribo. And if you don't think they're playing a trap-heavy deck, you can link off the Lingaribo and the Xcode Talker into an Avramax. So here what that ends up creating is that you have a Firewall that is unaffected by card effects and can't be targeted by card effects. Neither of these three monsters can be targeted by card effects, nor can Avramax. And I know what you guys are going to think. Wait, Coder, that's not an extra link. The Balinks isn't co-linked to the Avramax. But the thing is, it was an extra link when the Xcode Talker was here. And because, basically, in order to summon to both EMZs, you just have to have the extra link at the moment you summon to the second EMZ. But even if you link it off afterwards and it's no longer fully co-linked, you are still allowed to summon to your main monster zones. It's just you need to have the U-Link in order to summon to the second EMZ. So here you have an Ibli that is only allowed to crash into the Avramax, and once again, because of Sanctuary, they can't crash it. And like literally 4 out of your 5 monsters can't be targeted. Your Balinks has the other Balinks in grave for protection. So this is a very, very powerful board if you do open the Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. Keep in mind, this doesn't lose to Nibiru, this doesn't lose to Imperm, this doesn't lose to Gamma. So this is a very, very strong turn 1 board that you can do off of only 3 cards. You still have 2 other cards in hand here. Alright guys, so that was it for the combo part of the video, but I do want to show you guys a couple of neat plays that you can do with this deck. One of my favorite ones is making access code Talker with a Gachiri at Ignister as material. The reason why this is specifically cool is, say for example, you have the transcode, your update jammer, and a Gachiri, and you link all of them into an access code Talker. What this allows you to do, the really neat interaction you can have, is you can make your update jammer chainlink 1 to make your access code Talker able to attack twice. You can make your Gachiri chainlink 2 targeting your access code Talker to make it unaffected by your opponent's card effects, and you can make your access code Talker chainlink 3 to gain the attack based on the transcode Talker. And what this does is that this creates an access code Talker that can attack twice and is unaffected by your opponent's card effects, but because you place the access code Talker as chainlink 3 and the Gachiri and the update jammer are chainlinks 1 and 2, your opponent can't respond to either of these. So you're literally summoning a monster that, because they cannot respond to the chain on the summon of it, you're basically summoning a towers that they do not have the chance to interrupt before it becomes a towers. Because the big downside of Gachiri is that your opponent can respond to the effect when you attempt to make your monster unaffected, but because they can't respond to the access code Talker, they don't have that chance. So anytime you have the chance of making an access code Talker with a Gachiri, keep in mind your access code Talker in this deck more often than not pops 4 to 6 cards. So if you can make this guy unaffected by card effects and then pop 4 to 6 cards, you're most likely winning the game at that point. So genuinely, making your access code Talker with a Gachiri is a very, very powerful play in this deck. So it's very good to push for that when going second. So last but not least, I wanted to explain, because certain people didn't understand why is it that I played Salamander Sanctuary for the Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. So to explain, a lot of times when you summon Ibli to your opponent's side of the field, you will have the U-Link established. If you have the U-Link, your opponent is basically locked out of special summoning entirely because they're not allowed to special summon anything other than links, and they don't have a zone to legally summon a link monster too. So because they have no means of summoning a link monster, they can't special summon, period. And a lot of decks and a lot of players, a lot of times when they want to out the Ibli, the way that they'll do it, back in Goki format, they used to do this all the time, they turn the Ibli to attack and then they crash it into one of your monsters. This is where the effect of Salamander Sanctuary comes in. Yes, it has the first effect to relink a link monster, a Salamander link monster, but it also has the second effect that during damage calculation, if your link monster battles, you can pay 1,000 life points, reduce your link monster's attack to 0, and then gain life equal to the original attack of that monster. So here, if they crash the Ibli, I can pay 1,000 life, reduce my Balinks to 0, and then gain 500. So I'm essentially losing 500 life points, but my Balinks' attack becomes 0 during damage calculation. The reason why that's important is because we know that if two monsters with the same attack crash into each other, they're both destroyed. However, that is not applied to monsters with a 0 attack. So because the Ibli has 0 attack and my Balinks now also has 0 attack, the Ibli's attack does go through, but because my Balinks is on 0, neither monster is destroyed. So for this reason, Salamander Sanctuary removes the ability the opponent has of just crashing the Ibli into your monster in order to out the Ibli. So that is the reason why you play a Salamander Sanctuary. You're already playing the Balinks. You'd be playing this even if you didn't play the Sanctuary. So I feel it's worth it to play the one-off Sanctuary just to have that means of not allowing your opponent to out the Ibli lock simply by crashing it. So that's it for the combo guide, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are really excited to play this deck. I know it took a little bit of time to do it, but I did want to write out the combos so that they were really set in stone, and I made some combos that were really good. I do have other ideas to place additional negates on the field with something like Trigate or Salamander Roar. I am testing more things, so if you guys do want to see how the deck improves in real time, you can check me out over at twitch.tv/DistantCoder. I stream almost every single day. I stream a lot of Code Talker content and a lot of other decks too. I'm playing Unchained and a lot of Plunder Patrol lately, so if you guys want to see a little bit of that content, check me out on Twitch. I'd be very happy to see you guys there. But anyways, that's it for my combo tutorial for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Peace.